Hey everyone, and are you ready to drink wine with me? I hope you've poured yourself a glass because I have poured myself 3 glasses for this video. Now before we hop right in, I will tell you that I commit a wine faux pas in this video, and there is a reason for it. I'll tell you what the faux pas is and the reason for it at the end of this video. But really, this is wine tasting for normal people. So the faux pas that I did, I don't actually care about. So enjoy yourselves. I hope you learn a little something about wine and how to talk about wine. Let's hop right in and taste some wine, shall we? Hello and welcome to this video all about wine. Well, actually it's not all about wine. I'm just gonna be tasting a few of my favorite wines, talking about the producer behind them. I thought it would be fun to just drink, full stop, with you and talk with you about what I'm drinking. Let's get started. Today's wine I'm very excited about. It is a warm day in London, thank the heavens. It is the perfect day for this white wine from I Vini Di Giovanni. I'm gonna talk more about Giovanni himself, but first let's just break open this bottle and then I'll tell you more about the story stuff, okay? Right. So first things first with this, look at the color. This is a kind of wine, I said it's a white wine, and it is, but there's another name for it. It's called orange wine. And if you look at the color, you can kind of see why. Other names for this style of wine are amber wine, skin contact, macerated white wine. You chuckled when I said skin contact, didn't you? It makes sense once you understand how wine is made. With red wine, so the grapes, they're picked from their plant, they're smushed, and then they're fermented. The grape skins ferment with the must, right? So with the liquid inside, and that's how it gets its color. So with white wine grapes, typically the skins are discarded, right? It's like stomped, cool, get out of here skins, we don't need you. Orange wines like this, the white wine grapes, the grapes themselves, were soaking with the liquid as this wine fermented. So you can see it doesn't have the super crystal clear look that we tend to think of with a white wine. You know, you go into a wine store, you can ask for an orange wine and the person behind the counter will know what you're looking for. You know, little twirly, stick your nose all up in there. Right, so our olfactory senses, huge player in our enjoyment of the wine or the food. I'm gonna stop talking, let's taste it. I do love this wine, right? So I've had it before. Some like pineapple, even kind of peachy notes in this one actually. It seems complex, right? Like there's a lot going on. Partially, that is because of the grape itself. So this wine, Giovanni calls it VERMENTUZZO, which is just, it kind of gives a hat tip to the grapes used to make this wine. Those are Vermentino grapes, so 100% Vermentino grapes in this wine. And Vermentino grapes are initially from Sardinia, so they're from a different part of Italy. Vermentino has been compared to like Sauvignon Blanc, you're probably familiar with. It's a very famous French wine, but grapes planted all over the place. So orange wines are typically associated with natural wines. Not all orange wines are natural wines, but generally speaking, it is a thing done more often with natural wines. Okay, so what are natural wines? Well, the kind of saying that tends to go along with them is nothing added, nothing taken away. So with winemaking, you can pretty much think of the process as 2 boxes. One box is in the vineyard, right? So it's the farming aspect of it. Another box is in the cellar. So this is the more scientific part. This is when fermentation really comes into play. So the whole thing with natural wine is that in the vineyard and in the cellar, there are no additives. So in the vineyard, that means like there are no sprays. They don't use any chemicals, no copper, things like that. And in the cellar, they don't add things. They don't even add yeast. They use the indigenous yeast, just yeast naturally found on the grape skin, in order to kickstart the fermentation and to create the wine we all know and love. Typically with conventional wine, they'll actually add the yeast, much like yeast that you add to your home-baked bread. if you're using added yeast and not sourdough, of course. It's actually the same strain. It's called Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and it is used for beer brewing and wine making and bread making. Speaking of natural wines, I was clued on to this wine and this producer from the local wine vendors at my farmer's market. Ollie and Sam of Natural Born Wine, and they import this stuff called I Vini Di Giovanni. Giovanni is the name of the guy who makes this wine. I met him when I went to Umbria last summer when I was researching my book. He's so kind, him and his wife Cosetta. And I chatted with Ollie a bit about Giovanni's wines for all of you guys, so here's what he had to say.
So Vini Di Giovanni Battista Mesina, originally family from Sardinia, and they moved over to Umbria when he was 4 or 5 years old. But he is known internationally now as the shepherd who makes wine because he has 1,000 sheep. He also makes sheep's cheese, and he has incredible olive oil too. He has 300-year-old olive trees that actually surround the vineyard where the Vermentino is, that he grows. He makes a tiny amount of 5 different wines. Sangiovese, this guy here, and then also this Vermentino, and then lighter rosé kind of style, light red, called Chiaretto, and then 2 sparkling wines, Trebbiazo and Ciliegiazo. Yeah, everything made in sort of like a pre-industrial notion of how to make wine.
Thank you, Ollie. Guess what? The next wines we're gonna try are also from him. Shout out, hat tip to you, Giovanni, and your fantastic wines. He's not paying me to say that, by the way. Although, Giovanni, if you want to sponsor me, I'm into it. So this is cool. I like this because it's a weekday for me, and here I am after lunch sipping some wine. So hey, I'm into this video already. The next one I'm gonna drink with you is, I would almost classify as a rosé, but not 100%. Back today with Chiaretto, grapes, Vernaccia Rossa. Let's give it a sip and then we'll talk more. It's really lovely. It's a really light red. I mean, you see that. It's like almost a rosé, but not. How does it get this color of red? Like every grape variety has its own tannic structure, its own phenols, polyphenols, all up in those skins. And so they each have a slightly different color. Grapes will be combined together in order to achieve certain colors sometimes, as well as certain flavors. So yes, this is skin contact. This has been macerated, as red wines do. It gets 1 night of skin contact. So it's less than a red, but more than rosé. With rosé, you start to make a red wine, and then you pluck out the skins, so you just get this like light pinkish or salmon-y even kind of color. It's so good. And there is a minerality, which I think of as like licking a stone or something. I don't know how to describe minerality. Minerality in wine. Unfortunately, there is really no real agreement among wine experts or even wine scientists as to how to define minerality in a wine. Some tasters attribute it to the smell of wet stones. Yeah, so there you go. It's like licking a stone. My description was spot on, if you ask me. It's Friday. It's another beautiful sunny day in London. You can probably hear the sparrows chirping happily. I love reds, but this kind of weather, I don't want a Barolo. I don't want something really heavy that's gonna like be really tannic in my mouth. I want something light with a clean finish, high acidity, and this is a great option. Okay, so this one says bright acidity driven grapes. Definitely taste that acidity. Hi, do you want to try some? Do you want to be in my video? Connor hates the sparrows. Literally, he's gonna try and kill them. He's like, how can I poison them? You guys, do you see what I live with?
They're fucking so loud.
Grab a glass. Something to look for in wines is like how long is the finish, and that is something that is thought to be a really good thing. If you can taste it on your tongue for a substantial amount of time after you've sipped. And this has a really nice long finish. Oh my gosh. Well, I am that person at parties that like I gesticulate and I knock over someone's bottle of wine. That has happened more than once, but I won't do it tonight. Okay. It's really excellent. That's nice. Oh, I've never really mentioned what these, I got these glasses. They were a freebie with a course I took. I took a wine certification course at WSET, Wine and Spirits Education Trust. I did that here in London. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I better give myself some more to cheers. Oops. Cheers with you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Vini Di Giovanni Rozzo. So, let me explain my thinking behind tonight's wine tasting. It's like a chilly, overcast day in London. I want some delicious red wine. This it's 100% Sangiovese grapes. It's fantastic, and so that's what I want right now. That's what I would reach for on a day, in a moment like this. I don't want to drink this in the middle of the day on some other random sunny day to show this to you. I want this wine right now. So let's talk about this Rozzo. First, let's look at the color. It's a really beautiful ruby. I've had this wine of his before in other vintages, and this is lighter. This is markedly lighter. So Sangiovese grapes are the most widely planted grape in Italy. It does tend to be associated with central Italy though. Tuscany, Chianti is made with majority Sangiovese grapes. I think it's 70 or 80% Sangiovese in a Chianti, and then a couple other grapes in there blended in. Oh my gosh, it's like it's so plummy. Like there's so much plum. That is so fun. Medium bodied, really smooth finish. My dad is all about the smooth finish with a wine. Dad, you would dig this. And you know what? It is going to go very well with dinner tonight, which is Mont d'Or, which is one of my favorite French cheeses. I actually, you know, when I was like, it's a Sunday night. I have literally worked all weekend. I just wanted my wine and a big tub of cheese, and that's what I'm gonna have. I am gonna share the tub with Connor, no worries. But actually the Mont d'Or is in the oven as we speak. This is not going to overpower the Mont d'Or. It would also go super well with a red sauce. That would be really lovely. What else to say about this wine, since you all already know all about Giovanni at this point. He also doesn't add any sulfites, and sulfites are one of those ingredients that even a lot of natural wine and biodynamic wine producers do put sulfites in their wine because it's a preservative, and if you want to sell your wine and ship it anywhere, it tends to be, it's like a guarantee that your wine's gonna stay on track. So I'm actually incredibly impressed that this wine is as good as it is without the added sulfites. The cool and interesting thing about wines made in this way without any additives at all, right, including sulfites, is that this will change. This will change from when I have just opened it to 10 minutes from now, and there is controversy around this in the wine world. It is a fermented product, and kind of makes sense that it changes. As long as that change isn't disgusting, then I am super into it. Oh, that's my alarm, and so the cheese is ready. Oh yeah. Connor? Oops, I guess I get it all to myself. In all seriousness, these three things, cheese, wine, and bread, are my favorite. They're my absolute favorite, and that is why I wrote a book about them, which you can pre-order now. I'm obviously linking to the pre-order button. Check it out. Cheese, Wine, and Bread, Discovering the Magic of Fermentation in England, Italy, and France. That's my book. I'm really excited about it. That's what I've been researching for the past 2.5 years. You guys, that's why I have not been posting as much on the channel. It's because my heart and soul went into this book. And get yourselves a good bottle of wine, some delicious cheese, and some fantastic bread. Oh, did I forget to mention keep it quirky? Keep it quirky, duh. Keep it quirky. Okay, I'm very curious. Did you guys catch the wine faux pas that I mentioned at the beginning of the video? I'll tell you what it was. It was the style of wine glass I used. With white wines, typically, you do want to drink them in a glass with a stem. So you can hold the stem, and so that your hand, that the heat from your hand, from your body, doesn't warm the wine itself. Makes sense, right? But I will tell you the reason that I did this wine faux pas, and it was because, you guys, P.S. I edit these videos, so I actually didn't shoot them in order. I shot the first video, that VERMENTUZZO orange wine, I shot that last, actually. And I had already started packing to move. This is big news, then I'm gonna leave you hanging there, because in the next couple weeks videos, I will share with you where Connor and I are headed next. It is very exciting and some really fun videos to come. But anyway, so the only glasses that I had that were not yet packed away were the stemless ones that I drank this orange wine out of. Shout out to my brother Brian, who got me those glasses. I hope you've learned something. You're great. Don't forget to press the thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Let's hang out some more if you haven't already subscribed. And I'll see you back here next week.